This episode of ArcaSpeak is sponsored by ARCAT. Are you the BIM jockey for your firm? Are you used to the grind of using broad search engines or searching manufacturers' sites only to find they don't have BIM?
Are you wrestling with outdated or poorly built objects? It's time to use arcat.com. ARCAT is a free library of over 7,500 BIM objects and systems, all available in multiple formats. Even better, each object is a high-quality BIM based on actual manufacturer products.
And you don't even have to register to access ARCAT's BIM library. Just head over to arcat.com, that's ARCAT.com, and start downloading the BIM objects you need.
Welcome to ArcaSpeak, the podcast that talks about what it's like to work in the profession of architecture.
Welcome to episode 141 of the ArcaSpeak podcast. I'm Neal Pan.
And I'm Cormac Phelan.
And we just need to, it's a sad moment here actually for ArcaSpeak.
Yeah, it is.
As you might have been able to tell from our intro there, it was a little bit shorter. And we're sad to report that Evan was slain by Thanos for the good of the universe. And so he will not be joining us anymore. He's kind of disappeared.
No longer with us.
No, it's kind of, I'm not sure what we're going to do now, but
I think 50% of the universe is like that, but
yeah,
it happens.
It affected us too, and only a third of us. So
that's good odds.
Yeah, not too bad. So we thought we'd get this episode started by talking about airing some grievances. Little Festivus episode here.
Oh, all right. What grievances do you have, other than the fact that we no longer have Evan, and so
we've kind of had a couple of weeks to get used to that. So,
in fact, it doesn't even feel any different.
Well, maybe a little quieter. I don't know. Might be a little easier to edit now because we only got 2 tracks to deal with.
It's true.
So, well, we'll keep foraging on. We've been at it for a while now. It's new era, right? Or maybe we should put out an ad.
I guarantee no one's going to notice.
After our last episode, they might. That was all about Evan.
See, you know what? That's probably why he was the one chosen.
Ah, good point.
It's all about him, so.
Thanos said, enough of that.
Exactly. I've always liked him. That big purple softy.
Yeah, he did. Maybe he did us a favor.
Exactly. All right, so grievances.
Grievances. Well, I tell you, one of my biggest grievances I have right now is consultants.
Oh my God, that's a minefield right there, man.
In my past, in dealing with single-family homes or even remodels, you might have 1 or 2 consultants at most. And for the most part, they didn't really kind of hold things up or, just like, give me your drawings. Okay, maybe there's a question here or there after the fact, but not a whole lot more interaction. So now I'm in this whole new world of, design, bid, build, and, official bidding process and contractors and subs and RFIs and submittals and ASIs and all this alphabet soup of anachronisms, and just you're really held up by your damn consultants because you get questions or submittals for things and it's like, I cannot answer this. This is my consultant. And so you pass it along and they effing ghost you. It's like you don't hear from them. You got no answer. You go to the job site, you meet, I've got weekly meetings at the job site and I'm out there and they're like, well, what's the answer on this? I'm like, I don't know.
Dude,
I cannot get a frickin' response.
What
the hell am I supposed to do? I call them, send emails, nothing. What the hell?
What's worse about it is when, it's week after week and you're at a weekly OAC meeting and you're sitting down with the owner, you're sitting down with the contractor, and they're like, well, we're still waiting on an answer for RFI 100. And they of course immediately look at you and you're like, well, yeah, I'm still waiting on my input from MEP guy or, civil guy or whoever. And then, okay, they're like, all right, fine. Well, we need that, answer really, really soon. Next week rolls by. You give them the exact same answer. And then, and it gets to a point where, you're either A, going to cause a delay, or B, you've already long since passed the point of pissing everybody else off, including the owner, or mostly the owner.
Well, it makes you look bad, first off.
Yes, exactly. It's just like you have no control over your consultants. What's wrong with you?
Well, and in some cases, we don't always get to choose our consultant team on some things. It's not always true. We have our list of preferred ones that we typically use all the time, but that's not always true. And the client forces us or requests that we use a different consultant for a multitude of reasons, usually price. And now we look bad. We are not performing because all the communication goes through us. We get it. We're using Procore in this case. So everything gets pushed out to us. Then we push it out to the consultant team. And all right, we're shitting all over some consultants who will go unnamed here, but I will also say that some of my consultants are performing really well. They're responding sometimes the same day.
This
okay.
This is the grievance show.
All right, fine. We're grievances.
No praise
They're
for the
all
good ones.
shit. I can't stand any of them. All right, fair enough.
No, we don't have to talk about them. They know who they are. We'll only talk about the bad.
Oh my God! I hope they're not all listening, because then they'll all think it's them. And well, actually, it honestly is. So that's okay.
Well, if it is them and they are listening, can you please hurry up with the RFI? I mean, seriously, I've been waiting 2 damn weeks. Please.
Yeah, or at least call me back, right? I mean, even in my last message, I asked him. I'm like, okay, is somebody else? Should I be talking to somebody else? Is somebody else going to be able to help me on this? I'm trying to be nice here, but I'm getting a little pissed off. And tomorrow I'm not going to be so damn nice.
I can't tell.
Yeah.
I will say that this is the point where I guess maybe I miss Evan, because he would probably temper you a little bit. And,
he might.
And I'm only here to fan the flames. So are
you trying to say you're the little devil on my shoulder and I'm missing my little angel Evan? Is that it?
Oh, it's your little angel. Evan, if you're anywhere out there, just like to tell you, you're an angel.
Hey guys, what'd I miss?
Whoa, he's here.
Catch me up on what sorry, I'm late.
Speaking of angels.
You're back. What happened?
I've been called worse.
You've just you disappeared and now you're back. What happened?
I made a deal. Yeah,
Where have you been?
Yeah, in your nether regions.
Why? What?
You're gonna have to cut that part out.
Oh God!
No, I'm just repeating what you said.
I'm not cutting that out. Are you kidding me?
That's podcast
You've
gold.
been nowhere near there. Okay, let's just be clear about
gold.
that.
That was great. That was perfect timing. Perfect comedic timing. There.
Anyway,
you got to include that part of the pre-show now so that everybody gets the joke.
That's too much work, man. My daughter's birthday's this weekend. I'm limited on time here, so this is gonna roll.
So what are you guys talking about?
We're talking about grievances.
Grievances. We're airing some grievances today.
Good stuff.
Currently, right now, it seems as if Neal is a bit, maybe a bit's too harsh, but just a skosh upset about something. And
why not?
And it all
so communication's an issue?
Yes, communication. Actually, Neal.
Jeez.
See, There, Evan's here to
there's
tempt
my
you. See?
little white angel on my shoulder.
Communication is the issue.
Little
So
red devil.
clear. It's not a problem with the consultant's not the problem. You're the problem. You have not effectively communicated with them the urgency.
Now you're throwing me under the bus. You're getting on my shit list now too. But...
Sweet. I'm a grievance now. Always
That's
wanted
good.
to be. I shall be general
It's so
grievance.
hard not to drop some F-bombs here.
So this whole topic brings up a couple of thoughts for me. One is communication and just leadership. I mean, I think one of the things that we all have to deal with when we're working with consultants is, especially in the public realm, right? Cormac is the low bid, right?
Oh my God,
that's what we're talking. We're talking about the low bid of consultants, right? And you get what you pay for. We've talked about that before.
Because client after client's going after like the low bid for the contractors, and unfortunately, when it comes time for us to pull together our project team, sometimes we have to go for the low bid too. And you're right.
Well, and no joke, consultant costs have been going up, right? So
yes.
it definitely is a factor to be dealt with when you're picking and selecting the team to work on a project. But it is kind of you get what you pay for. And I think one of the interesting things to talk about as architects who lead these teams and it's what's the right word here? I mean, it's our reputations on the line.
Yeah.
And they're not the ones competing for the work. It's us who's competing for the work. And then we're awarding consultants jobs based on that.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that should be addressed. I mean, do you guys make consultants compete for the jobs that you're potentially awarding to them on your projects? I mean, you had to compete for the job.
Yeah, I mean, we have to go out and get 2 and 3 proposals for, when we're initially going after something for, the scope of services. And we have to basically, a lot of times, even though we may have favored people that we like to work with, sometimes they're not the most, they're not the cheaper ones. And, you go with somebody who you either may not know at all or you're not comfortable with, or a lot of times we've had it. Neal said that, where we get stuck with somebody who the owner wants. And it's just like, my brother-in-law is a structural engineer, so I'd really like you to use him. And, his brother-in-law got his degree off the back of a truck, and that's what we got to deal with. And it's just like, sorry, man, the structural engineer is completely unresponsive, but, what are you going to say since, it was a suggestion by them? It's just like, well, you told us to work with this guy. Yeah, that goes over very well.
Yeah, can't say that.
I want to.
This also brings up to me is this book that I'm reading called Radical Candor by Kim Scott, and it's basically talking about how to have these really candid conversations with people, so that you're really upfront, but you're not mean about it, you're not rude about it, but you're giving honest feedback that hopefully leads to a better work product or whatever it is, better relationship, better working relationship, and so I mean, it sounds, Neal, like you're calling these people up and leaving messages, and it doesn't sound like they're being professional and returning, holding up their end of the bargain, right?
Yeah.
And so I wonder, this also goes back to kind of vetting consultants in the first place. And do you guys do any kind of, my guess is it's just kind of like, oh, you ask around the office, have you worked with this team? Have you worked? Because each consultant that you might work with also has an A team and a B team and a C team, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I wanted to get to that.
And so I wonder, do you guys do any kind of vetting of, I mean, one of the things that I've thought about with consultants, and this is not a new idea, I'm not saying I originated this idea, but it's one of those things where is this consultant, is their business have similar aspirations to your business? Would there be a benefit in having that relationship because you guys aspire for something similar? And meaning that you help them achieve something, they help you achieve something, and therefore you have a common purpose in the services that you offer, in the designs that you offer, in whatever it is that you're after being an architect or working as a firm in the architectural profession. I think that's taking it to another level for sure, but that also takes a lot of effort to do. But I think it could pay off in huge ways, especially if you guys are going after something bigger than just the project you have on your plate right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think one of the challenges we're seeing right now, and I mean, I'll be the first one to put ourselves even on this, on the sword on this one, which is I don't know about you guys. Well, actually I do, but I don't know about the rest of our listeners out there, but we're swamped. We're very busy, which is a great thing. I got to be careful how I say that. We're very busy, but I find it right now a challenge to keep up. This is my other grievance here I'm going to air, is that just trying to keep up with everybody, to give the challenge is we're keeping up. I feel that I'm struggling giving everyone the service that I should be doing.
Yeah, because you don't want to compromise. Right. Yeah.
And so that's a struggle right now, in that it's hard to find people with a certain level of experience. I think the recession wiped out like an entire section of the architectural field, that there's a gap, that 5 to 7 year experience gap of professionals out there that just are very, very thin right now. I don't know what what your firm's experiences have been in that sort of gap range of trying to hire people.
We actually, the funny thing is, we just had a very similar conversation in the office about where our talent gap is, and we're on the hunt for talent, and it's really hard. I mean, because especially if we do specialized work, to find people who not only are experienced, but are also experienced in the type of work that we do. So that makes it really hard. And I know, Evan, you're probably in that same boat as well.
Yeah, totally. I mean, exactly what you said, Neil. It's a huge gap. It's really hard to attract people. It is an employees market right now. There's a lot of people tailoring their career based on projects that are out there. They want to go where the projects are, and then they move on to even another firm after that project ends, because they're just curating their portfolio at this point, because it's that type of a market. Yeah. It's really hard to build good, solid teams for the long haul when you can't even find anybody to apply for the positions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we're... back to what you were saying earlier about, like, both of you guys were saying about the consultants and, kind of like getting stuck. And I don't know if you guys do a lot of like out of state or another state work, but we do projects all over the country. And a lot of times and I don't want to use the word stuck, but, we have to choose local, local firms, local architect to work with and things like that. And, a lot of times you're learning, who these people are and what they can do and all of that other stuff. But because you're so used to working with a project team that, you're comfortable with, say a lot of our local work is, people that we work with all of the time. And, sometimes we'll do work, we're doing work locally, but, we've got, work down in, in Durham, North Carolina right now, and we're using the same, the same company for different services. So we know, we feel comfortable with, those kind of relationships. But then there's some that are just a crapshoot. And, like we had one that, we were told by the university that, they've had a lot of good experience with these people, and, we'd like for you to use them on, the discipline they were working on. I'm trying to keep it as very not specific,
generic terms there.
Yeah, exactly, not specific as possible. And
so you won't use Eric, the civil engineer, anymore.
Yeah. and it was so hard for them to get. Well, first, they had an opinion about everybody else's job except for their own. In their own, they were so unresponsive that it was just a pain to, get a lot of this work done. And they were like, well, when I was sort of using that joke about, when we're sitting in front of the owner and the owner's, the contractor's asking about the status of an RFI that's been open for 4 weeks, and it's that one guy, and you really want to say to him, I'm like, look, I would have had, if I would have had my choice of, consultant X and you stuck me with consultant Y, I would have had that answer for you. But no, I have consultant Y, and unfortunately, you did this to us. You can't say that to him, and you're clearly you don't you'd love to say it to him, but of course you can't say it to him. But it's just it's the quality of work and the unknowns. Yeah. The unknowns from people that you're working with in local jurisdictions. Sometimes it's Neal, it's like you said, it's like pulling your hair out.
Well, you guys have seen the triangle, the fast, cheap, and good, and you get to pick two.
Yeah,
you ever seen that?
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about the consultant who is. Let's talk about the one who's good and cheap, because that is the one that just takes forever to do stuff.
Yeah,
right. But you work with them. She's the nicest person. She always, is really lovely to talk to. Does get you what you ask for late every time. And so, I mean, what do you do in those instances when you're working with, some consultant who is a great person, does the right kind of service, but just never hits a deadline? Because they're cheap. That's why they get hired.
Well,
time and time again.
And then
I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah. Because then you also get that's not really in my scope. I had to cut back my scope, so that I could.
I find those ones to be like, yeah, we'll do whatever you need. Yeah, fine, whatever you need. Yeah, sure, we'll do that too. And they don't charge you extra for it. They just do it, but they take forever. It happens. It happens especially on K-12 stuff. I've seen.
I haven't. You're sorry. You've just completely baffled me. Wait, hold on. Thanos, take him away.
We need him back.
Because I mean,
you don't have that kind of experience, that kind of consultant.
I've never had a consultant who says, "Yeah, I'll go ahead and don't worry about the additional services. I can go ahead and pick that up." Yeah.
Well, it's all little stuff. I mean, we're not asking them to do anything crazy, but like the client or the maintenance person keeps changing their mind and cutting more scope out of their part of the project or whatever. And we'll make the changes. We need it by Wednesday. You'll get it in 2 weeks, basically.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens quite often, I've seen. But then there's the cheap and really bad consultants, and they're non-responsive, and you have to do their job for them, and they make you look bad. And those are the ones that, to me, like it would make sense if we kept track of that kind of thing so that they actually don't get hired again, or make them compete for it, because they're typically getting picked because they're cheap, but it's painful. It's a painful process to work with those consultants.
Well, and I don't know if they do it in the K through 12 market on, out there as they do here, but they pre-qualify all of their architects. They pre-qualify all their CMs, but they rarely ever pre-qualify all of the consulting engineers, because that's normally part of the team with the architect. The architect, sure, if they're going to get picked, and you go through, if it's hey, Evan's turn to do the next high school, so then Evan goes out and starts building his project team and gets all of the dollars, and they're like, well, we're only going to pay you this much. And then you say, okay, well, I want civil engineer X, Y, and Z to bid on it, and Z comes in the cheapest, so you kind of go with him. But it would be good to, I mean, we try to pre-qualify all of the people that we work with just, internally for us. But, sometimes when you're having to come up with that magic mix of, fee or your MBEs and all of these other, things,
Mm-hmm.
The
that perfect recipe.
that you're trying to come up with that perfect recipe of, qualified people that are also cheap and all that other stuff. And, they're also busy too. And they're trying to, kind of, you've beaten me down with these fees, so this is all you're getting from me. I can't give you any more because you're not giving me any more.
Yeah. Well, I guess my final thing about this topic would just be to treat it like any other relationship where you want a good outcome, is invest into it. And so if you, while you're not under the crazy pressure of the job, take a consultant out to lunch, get to know them better, see what they're all about, find out what they want to do with their life or with their business, depending on. We actually had consultants come in and do presentations about just to give us exposure to what they've done, what they're capable of doing, where they want to go, who have they merged with, what, they thought of all this stuff to talk about, and they gave us a presentation, and I thought it was pretty fantastic business development on their part to do that, because they came in and presented to our entire staff in our office all of this stuff that they're doing. And it just showed that they were serious about working with us.
Right.
They showed their aspirational side. They showed what their capabilities were. And I thought that was fantastic. And so I think, not every consultant or business out there is going to do that. They're not going to have the motivation to do that kind of thing. But we can learn more about our consultants and what they're all about, and put that effort in, because I think that's kind of what it's going to take if you're really struggling to find good consultants. Or get them to call you back or deliver what they said they would deliver. Maybe it just needs to get a little more personal, and you got to show that interest in them. And it probably would be better to do that when it's not under the giant pressure, because I'm sure that they're super busy too. And I know that it doesn't really help us to just keep giving them the benefit of the doubt because they said they were going to do something. But maybe it's like, hey, instead of bitching at them on voicemail, just say, hey, let's grab a coffee and talk about what's going on. Something like that.
See, Neil, told you.
See, it's all good. All right.
If we didn't have Evan come back from the dead, it would just be you and me bitching about how
it would just be a giant crap storm here. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that might be a little more entertaining, though.
Yeah, probably. Sorry,
ruined it. Maybe for you.
Oh, I got more Greaves. I got more.
I was hoping you did.
Oh,
yeah.
I got an effing world of them right now. So.
He's in a world of Greaves. What's your Greaves?
Ask Greaves.
What the hell's up with the damn code book?
What?
All right, so this is like a total Seinfeld kind of episode of and what's the deal with the code books?
I didn't even think about that. All right. So I'm dealing.
The code books are your friend, Neil.
No, they effing hate me right now. Holy crap. It's like everything I'm doing right now is just a bucket of hurt. Everything. It's a freaking bucket of hurt. Everything. We're doing a simple package locker addition, not even addition. We're taking over an office and a storage room and turning it into a package locker room in this community. In this community building. And for those that don't know, one of the big things that's very popular right now in multifamily housing is, or one of the big needs is package locker storage. So everybody's ordering off of Amazon or somewhere else, and the UPS or FedEx person's coming in, and they're just stuffing first off, the mail rooms typically are not designed for packages. So they can't put them there. They put them behind, these multifamily buildings have these like sales areas or, common community room areas. And there's always somebody who's kind of working there to help or something. And so they're getting stuffed and thrown everywhere. So if these developments weren't built this way to handle package lockers, anyway, you have to build these areas, and they make these. I forget the manufacturer, that one of the more popular ones, but you probably have seen these Amazon lockers in your local grocery store or something like that. It's basically that, but in your building. And so we have a building. It's barely 6-7 years old. It's been 4 months, and I'm still don't 4 months, 4 or 5 months. No, I think it was November. We submitted this in November of last year. We still don't have a permit. We keep going around and around with the building official. This is all over accessibility upgrades. There's a building that's barely 6 years old, and just the code is just driving me insane. There's all this stuff about, what basically happened was the building plan checker came back and just said, oh, well, what are you doing for accessibility here, 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 and here, and here? And so we're like, okay, well, we'll put some notes on here like, hey, if this is not quite right, the contractor to verify. They're like, no. You need to tell us exactly what you're doing. So the client had to go out, hire an accessibility consultant to go out and survey the entire property down to the little like 1/4 inch. They were like, yeah, this mirror in this bathroom is a quarter, not even a quarter, maybe 1/8 of an inch off. It's supposed to be 40 inches, and it was like 40 1/4. So, we got to, change the mirror. Anyway, then they had to get a contractor to bid all of these different things so that we could come up with 20% of the overall cost of this project, $30,000. We've probably spent more than $30,000 in frickin' consultant fees, more than the job is worth, just to deal with this stuff. That's just one thing. I've got a whole bunch of other ones when we get into, but a lot of them are surrounding this sort of stuff. I've got existing projects and all. I have a project in a city that apparently it's owned by an affordable housing developer. But apparently the plan checker goes back. He pulls the original permit on this project. It's from 1999, maybe 2000. And he sends his plan check comments. He goes, this project was never approved as a public housing project. So you've got to make the entire thing compliant with Chapter 11B. I'm like, shit, all we're doing is like maintenance. We're fixing, some flooring, some cabinetry and countertops and upgrading the fixtures. This is all building maintenance. Is that no, you got to put everything up to 11B, blow out your kitchens and bathrooms to make them all totally accessible. And I'm like, no, damn it. Multiple exceptions within Chapter 11B. I don't have to do some of this stuff, but it's just this constant battle back and forth. And we're under a deadline. These projects, they get funded. They have to get permitted in a certain time. Otherwise they lose their funding. And it's this freaking battle. I feel like every day I go to work, it's a freaking battle. I don't know. Is architecture a battle? Is that what we do? Is that what we're doing? Maybe that's just what I'm doing right now, but that's I don't know. That's my grievance. Talk me off the ledge, Evan.
I believe that you need a hug.
Do we need an internet hug?
Watch out. You need an intervention. Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's it. I don't know.
Sorry. Right when you were, I just started to have Pat Benatar singing in the
me
back
too.
of my head.
Totally.
Just like,
love is a battlefield right here.
Exactly.
Insert that into the show.
Neal.
Sometimes that's my answer. Sometimes.
Yes, exactly. I would say it is. Does it have to be? Probably not. but you're dealing with people who are looking at things black and white. Then you're dealing with people who are a little bit more amoebic, than other people who just see gray, and it just it's a lot of butting heads for probably no reason. If you take a step back, take a deep breath, and do it. And then unfortunately, we don't have the time to even take the deep breath. Everybody wants the answer now, and you just gotta. I mean, that's kind of why they hire us, though, is so that we can manage through all of the crisis. So,
crisis management.
Yes,
I should put that on my business card.
Put that on your LinkedIn profile.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree. I think that, this is probably an opportunity for you to grow, and because you've got.
Oh, I'm effing growing.
You've got to deal.
He's damn ancient now.
And the next time it's going to be way easier because you've done it before. So, but yeah, it doesn't make it any easier now. I'm sorry.
It's like, I really didn't want to learn that lesson.
Right. That's pretty much how it always goes, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like all I wanted to do is.
I would have figured this shit out, but that's not necessarily true. I am doing a different product type. It's different than what I've done before, and there's a lot of growing pains.
You're stretching new muscles. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, they're stretching all right.
Eat a couple of bananas. The potassium will do you
snap.
fine. You'll get back to it.
Oh, I
It's
know
the
all
episode
about
where
eating
Neal
bananas,
snaps.
Okay. Yeah.
Get him about to go postal.
There'll be a lot of beeps in this one. I've been good about that so far, but
you tried to self-beep yourself. Yeah.
I have self-beep myself because it's a pain in the butt to edit that.
Well,
oh,
yeah, I don't think that the added stress of lots of projects and short timelines helps in any of this. So you got to figure out how to, delegate, shed responsibilities. Like you said, you're pretty good at this, Neal. You're pretty good at saying, I have very limited time. So you say no to more things, and I think that's a good thing to do in these circumstances. So just concentrate on the stuff you have to do.
Yeah. What is it? So I get this change order request today. So picture this. So we made some changes to the windows to make them more economical. So I get a change order request. Okay, yep, some of the windows changed. So okay, well here's the charge for this, charge for that, charge for this, and I'm like, wait a minute, but one of those windows got smaller. This is like a grouping of windows in each unit, and I'm like, and we eliminated this other window, so where's the deduct for those two? Like, I'm not going to approve this until I can find out what happened to the things that you took out. Where's the credit? So should we throw? We're having fun here, so let's just throw contractors out here.
I find it interesting that you haven't thrown contractors in this yet.
This is how bad it is that it's like the third or fourth thing on my list.
Totally.
Neal, funny thing was today, I was we were talking about different ways of handling things through contract stuff, ASIs, change orders, and all that other stuff. And we got to talking, and something came in for one of the projects, and we were like, well, that's going to be a change order. I'm like, don't worry about it. I will find a credit to offset that change order. I am like a rabid dog when it comes to trying to find the credits. It's just
Detective Phelan.
You will. I mean, I will.
So what you're? Yeah. Go ahead.
Sure, I may pay for this, but you will be paying for something else.
Is that the world we live in here?
Yeah. I'm stockpiling. I already know like a handful of credits and stuff that we've already.
You got your spreadsheet tracking going.
Totally stockpiling. I'm waiting for somebody to say, "Oh, well, this is going to cost this." Like, is it really?
You see, here's the deal.
Exactly. It's like, let's talk for a moment. You remember when we did this, and this, and we never went back and asked for the credit, which, we so rightly deserved. Well, time to pay the piper.
Time to call in these favors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's an interesting game that's sort of new to me with this sort of, in that world, which you're very familiar with, Cormac. So this is new to me. So I'm like, wow, new world, right? Just eyes open to this whole, I mean, I say that, but yet even dealing with remodels and single family stuff, we're always battling the contractors on little things here and there. But this is like really big, because this is the first time in my career where, I mean, like the everything is documented. Every dollar is tracked, right?
Yo.
And so it's like, whoa, this is really interesting. Anything I do is every decision is tracked, and then just trying to figure out, how do we track this on the drawings, every little change, and and issuing new updates here and there, and tracking all this stuff. It's like, oh, it's new. There's probably people rolling their eyes at me right now listening to this, saying, oh, he's so cute, but
Glad to know I'm not the only one.
Yeah, shut up. Aren't you f***ing dead?
I can be.
Well, Neal, I mean, it's all I can say is this is just the first of many.
Yeah.
It only gets worse.
Oh, we got more episodes coming.
Yeah. I don't know if it necessarily gets worse. I just think you'll learn how to deal with the flow. I mean, I go back and I always think of, what is the true intent of construction documents, whether it's the specs or the drawings, and it's all CYA. It really is. And that's why the documentations, that's why, like, any little thing. I mean, I love...
that's what CA is, actually. They just left the letter out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They did. Well, I guess it's just, cover your ass. Sure, same thing. But, that's why it's so just desperately important to make sure that you've documented every little thing. And when somebody says something, and maybe it's something like, yeah, well, maybe we should just, move this here or something like that. And, even if something that you think is just, banal, you say, no, that's all right. We can just move that. Well, that little move, when somebody comes back around with that, change order, request, and it's, $10,000, you just make sure that you're covered.
You have that encyclopedic memory of all of the things so that you can just pull it up at a moment's notice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
that's easy.
I love our encyclopedic memory is assisted by New Forma for us. Where,
computation.
Yeah. All you got to do is, like, today, we had a conversation about a video room and what we were doing for the ceiling in a video room. Whether or not it was going to be a drop ceiling with, the, kind of like the suspended grid so that you can adjust all of the lights and all that other stuff. Or if we were going to have no ceiling and just the suspended grid, but then, we would have to acoustically treat the underside of the deck. And, come back and we're just talking about costs and, what each of those implications mean. And so we decided, obviously, on the cheaper of the two, not really any different, cost-wise, it was the cheaper of the two, but acoustically, and programmatically, it was, roughly the same thing. But yeah, it's just, just making sure that you just, it's something as simple as that, just documented, like, who said what, just to make sure when it comes back and it doesn't quite, align with the cost that we all thought, this is what we agreed on and you signed off on it. So this is, so that's why it's not a errors and omissions. Because I think that's what scares. I think that's what scares us the most.
Yeah,
is that the good old E&O.
Yeah, I think the part that I struggle with is I tend to be a perfectionist, and so I hate
good luck with that.
Yeah, I know, right? But I don't like making mistakes. If I mean on things you don't know or things like that, okay. I mean we deal with that, but it just seems that there's a lot of unknowns. Most of what all of the projects I'm doing are affordable rehabs. So they're existing buildings that we're going in and in some cases tearing down to the stud, and in others just some interior stuff, and it's less involved. But there's just so many unknowns and things you're just not sure about, and it's very frustrating when you think you know how something is done. You draw it up, you document it, and do all that, and then they tear it apart, and it's like, oh no, shoot, it's not like that. So that gets frustrating because then your client's like, well, what does this guy really know, or what do they know? Are they that good at what they're doing? You try and double check, but it's just a lot of those types of things. And when they happen all at the same time, you're like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? So,
well, the avalanche.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit of an avalanche. I guess.
That's why we should petition the AIA to change CDs to CEs.
CEs?
Yes, close enough.
Close. Close enough. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so.
Yeah, you need to go ahead and get that perfection thing out of your head.
Oh, I know. I struggled with that my whole life.
You're dealing with clients, you're dealing with contractors, you're dealing with subcontractors, you're dealing with people who remember, what did we say? Low bid, you get what you pay for. Sometimes, you go through this whole damn effort of doing all of this stuff. And, like say, good example, went through, designed all of these folding partitions. They need to meet, a pretty high STC because they're separating large classrooms and everything else. And we specified a specific type, so which is pretty much the only one that could get that one. And we start getting all of these bids for, we could do this, but if you just relent on this unrealistic STC rating. I'm like, well, it's really not unrealistic when we found, a couple of different manufacturers who can conform to it, but you're looking at one who can only conform to one thing, a really low number. And not the number of the STC, but the number of the bid. And, so you're just, so the perfection part's, sometimes you got to go out the window and just, do the close enoughs.
Close enoughs. I like that.
Start the petition.
Guess it comes from way too many K through 12s. Because I think that's, right, Evan?
Yep. I know. It's true.
Have we aired enough grievances for tonight, or you got?
I don't know.
Do
you need to sit back down on the couch and yell at the clouds a little bit more?
Just like any psychiatrist type appointment. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Be back for more.
$150 an hour.
It gets expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're cheaper, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're cheaper, so
we're free.
You can air your grievances to us, right?
Do it.
I don't know. No, don't do that. I don't want to hear about your problems. I got enough of my own.
I would like to hear about how your problems are worse than mine.
I want to hear.
Oh, there we go.
Exactly.
There we go. All right.
I want to hear problems that are worse than ours.
Oh, I'm sure
I won't feel so bad.
Yeah. I'm sure they exist. We got to. Hopefully, if our listeners can actually download this episode on Apple Podcasts, they'll be able to listen and tell us.
Yeah. As opposed to last episode.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
All right, well, let's finish up. Take us out.
Sounds good. All right. Well, hey, I want to remind everybody that this episode is sponsored by ARCAT, and the music is by System Kid. Subscribe to ARCAT on Apple Podcasts, which hopefully you'll be able to download this episode on, or listen directly from our site. Don't forget, you can still do that, and that's at archispeakpodcast.com, where you can stream or download every episode and find links to everything we've referenced. Follow the show on social media via Twitter and Facebook, or you can even email us. Links to all of these can be found at archispeakpodcast.com. Stay subscribed, everyone, and thanks for listening. And we're happy to have Evan back. Welcome back, Evan.
Oh, thanks. See you next time.
Welcome back from the dead.
Drawing straws and pails, me hard. I'm caught in a phone booth on the beach. You reach for your gun. Do I watch or run, or will someone call 911? Please, you were everything I wanted. Beat your babies for needing you. Still, your hunger to conceive. A brand new pup might cuddle up, but he won't be enough. Your greed, I'm caught in a phone booth on the beach. You reach for your gun. Do I watch or run, or will someone call 911? Please, you were everything they needed and more. Oh, and everything was magic, but more went overboard. I hate the way that you lied to me. Still, I love you anyway, because you tell